Hello, this is Sondra Oster Baras bringing you a few words of Bible from the heart of Biblical Israel. This week's Torah portion is Trumah, and with this Torah portion we begin what goes from now to the very end of the book of Exodus, the building of the tabernacle. And we have two Torah portions, this one and next week, Tetzaveh, that is dedicated to the instructions of building it. We have a break in the middle where we have the story of the golden calf, and then the last two Torah portions talk about the actual building of the tabernacle, which actually has a lot of repetition, because if in these two portions we have the instructions, at the end we have the implementation of those instructions, and there aren't a whole lot of differences. But as always, there's reasons for everything, and we are not now going to study in depth all of these Torah portions, but I do want to just kind of share a few interesting thoughts. So with regard to this particular Torah portion, this week's Trumah, I always love the very, very beginning of the Torah portion, because there are two key verses here that I think are so classic, something that we can take into our lives today, even though today we don't have a temple or a tabernacle. So at the very beginning of the Torah portion, we have the instruction to the children of Israel: everyone should take for me a Trumah. Trumah means a contribution, a donation from each individual person based upon what his heart desires. In other words, there is a on the one hand, these are instructions. This is a instruction that everybody needs to participate in building the temple, and yet the words that are used are not "this is taxes," but "this is a contribution." And how do you determine what contribution? It's what your heart tells you, what you feel drawn to give. And I think that's very, very special, because as much as there's no question, there is a commandment for the nation to build this temple. The way it comes down to each individual person is that, do you want to take part? If you want to be part of this national effort to build this sacred place, this tabernacle, think about on your own, what is it you are going to be able or want to give. And we say later on that all these different people, the women give, certain fabrics and jewelry, and the men give, all kinds of, it's just truly a national effort. And the fact that it is based on the individual desire of each person and how much they want to contribute is really what makes it so special. And I think that this is something that's important for all of us to understand with regard to contributions themselves. Very often, people, there's no secret that, there's a lot of charitable organizations out there who need money. And people sometimes get tired of getting letters or emails or phone calls from all kinds of places asking for contributions. And I think that it's very, very important to kind of strike this balance. On the one hand, myself as a director of a nonprofit organization, it's very important for us to put our needs before people so that they can donate. They know what it is we need. But on the other hand, I think it's very, very important not to pressure people, because that's not the point. The point is that people, and I believe this, I believe that most people are good, and most people want to help, and most people want to contribute. And there's a lot of good works out there. And it really is something that every individual person needs to choose, needs to select what is their heart telling them is important. And, there's always a variety of things, and this one prefers to donate to children, and that one prefers to donate to needy families, and this one prefers to donate to beautiful buildings or parks. And there's no right or wrong, as long as it's something that serves the public and that fills a need. It is very important that people have the ability to choose and to feel, to give from their own desire. And I want to encourage every one of you to look into your hearts and to see how contributions are something special. It's a privilege. It's a privilege that people are being given through their contributions to participate in something that may not be something you can personally do. Okay, if a child needs help, you're not necessarily holding that child and hugging them and giving them their love because it's a child who lives very far from you. But if by writing a check or some other way, volunteering something, whatever, you are able to help, this is an amazing contribution. And so I look at contribution as a privilege. And in the same way here, as the contribution on the one hand comes from the individual's heart and what they're feel led to do. On the other hand, it is a privilege because through this contribution, they are able to take part in the building of the tabernacle, which is such an amazing thing. And there's one more verse that I want to refer to, where in verse 8, God says, "And they shall make me a temple so that I will dwell amongst them." And it's in many commentators, of course, have noted, it doesn't say so that I may dwell within it. Okay, make a temple so that I would dwell within it. That would make sense, but that's not what it says. It says they should make a temple so that I will dwell within them. Okay, it is not the temple. The temple isn't important. I mean, it's important because it enables human beings to focus on something physical. It enables them to contribute to something, to be involved in something, to build this temple. But what they need to understand is that God is not sitting in the temple. God is everywhere. And that by participating in this amazing national project to build the temple, you are basically allowing God to come and dwell within you. And that's something that really becomes an eternal message, because even today, when we don't have a temple or a tabernacle, okay, it doesn't matter. God can still dwell within us, and it's the dwelling within us that's important. Have we pulled God into our lives? What does that mean? It doesn't mean reducing God. It means when we live our lives, are we conscious of God's presence amongst us so that we make sure to do whatever we can to please Him and to follow His will. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Have a wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom.
I hope you enjoyed that film. And we have lots more film content and emails and articles that I'm sure you will enjoy as well. Check out our website at CFOIC.com and subscribe to our newsletter. You can do that right from the homepage. I know you will really enjoy the content that will land in your inbox on a regular basis. Hope to see you soon.